Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're new here, this is your masterclass on mastering human psychology. Today, we are tackling one of the most insidious forms of influence, emotional contagion. This isn't just about vibes, it's a biological mechanism that skilled communicators use to hijack your mood and guide your decisions without ever raising their voice. To understand this system, we first need the science. Emotional contagion is simply the tendency to automatically synchronize with another person's emotions. It's an involuntary sharing of mood and physiological states. Think of it like this: if the person across the table starts getting agitated, even if they don't say a word, your body, your heart rate, your internal state will start to mirror that agitation. It feels like a biological leash. This is where power dynamics come into play. The skilled manipulator doesn't need to argue with you or even lie directly. They just need to control the emotional atmosphere. They might start with subtle anxiety, a rapid pace of speech, a sudden shift in tone, and before you realize what's happening, your own system is already running on their emotional frequency. This is not a moral failing, it's a deeply wired, evolutionary survival mechanism designed to keep us connected. But like any powerful system, it can be weaponized against you. So, how do you break free? You need a defense mechanism. We call it the emotional decoupling pause. The concept is simple but revolutionary. When you sense the emotional shift, the tension rising, the anxiety spiking, you must physically pause. Don't react immediately. Instead, take one deep breath. This single action forces a physiological break in the automatic synchronization loop. And then, the most critical step, mentally name the emotion you are sensing. Don't just feel it, label it. Say to yourself, I am recognizing fear, or this is guilt. By labeling the emotion, by creating cognitive distance, you interrupt the automatic emotional cascade. You move from being a passenger to becoming the observer. Let's look at a real-world scenario, the high-stakes negotiation. The other party becomes visibly frustrated, their voice rising, projecting panic. The natural instinct is to match that energy, to get defensive, to raise your voice back. That's what they want. It validates their emotional state. Instead, you deploy the pause. You take that deep breath. And you internally label it. This is frustration. By decoupling, you create a vacuum. You remove yourself from their emotional orbit. Suddenly, their performance loses its power because it is no longer contagious to you. This skill is critical in relationships too. When a partner starts exhibiting extreme emotional volatility, the sudden accusations, the dramatic mood swings, it's often an attempt to trigger your empathy and make you responsible for their stability. Your job, in that moment, is not to fix them. It's to recognize the pattern. I am sensing emotional distress, you label it, and then you create space. This is about self-protection. You are not responsible for managing someone else's emotional state, no matter how loud or dramatic they make it. Let's talk about the physiological aspect. Emotional contagion triggers mirror neurons, the same neurons that fire when you perform an action, and also when you observe it. These neurons are amazing for empathy, but they are also the root mechanism of this vulnerability. They make us feel too much, too easily. To strengthen your emotional decoupling, you need practice. Start small. When watching a movie or reading a book, ask yourself, what emotion is the character projecting? And what am I feeling in response? The goal is to create the gap between stimulus and response. To feel the emotion intellectually before you allow it to hijack your body's chemistry. Remember, this is not about becoming cold or uncaring. It's about being strategically aware. It's the difference between reacting and responding. When you master this pause, you gain immense psychological leverage. You become the emotional anchor in any storm. Think about group dynamics, a meeting where everyone is stressed, panicked, or overly excited by a false premise. The contagion effect amplifies it. The moment you recognize the collective emotional shift, the sudden dip into despair or spike into panic, you are in control of your internal response. This awareness is your superpower. It allows you to maintain rational thought even when every biological impulse screams for you to panic with them. One final takeaway for today: emotional decoupling is a muscle. It requires constant, conscious effort to build. Don't expect instant mastery. Every time you successfully pause, breathe, and label an emotion in real life, whether it's a difficult conversation or a high-stakes deal, you are strengthening that muscle. Use this knowledge not to manipulate others, but to protect your own internal peace and make decisions based on objective reality. Master your emotional state, and you master every interaction in your life. Now go out there, observe the system, and remain decoupled.